Alright, Shalom Akim. Before we begin, I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Chakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, I agree most on the men who teach and rule well. And peace and blessings be unto you, fellow Akim, ye brothers. But also push out this word of truth, sincerity, and in faith. And those in this lesson, I have a couple of scriptures. I don't have a title yet, but I have a couple of scriptures to touch on what happened this past Saturday. Yeah, so pretty much you have it to where and those will link the camp video in the channel description, in the video description. I wasn't able to actually screen record just to make it easier. I'm just gonna screen record and just bring out the scriptures themselves, but let me actually read it first. What I have here, this is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 18 verse 9 that I have written here. It says, "When thou art come into the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not learn to do after the abominations of those nations." All right, and of course, those nations here is talking about who? The other 18 heathen nations, man. All right, any other nation that doesn't derive from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, all right, they're Gawayam in the Hebrew. They're other nations. All right, and here it is, time and time again, you're gonna see our people, Salakia, our people commonly indulge into pretty much every other custom here on earth. All right, any other custom, any other name or god or idol that they'll call upon, and they'll come up to camp and spewing all sorts of madness, man. And that's pretty much what we had this past Saturday. All right, you had a woman come up, all right, an Israelite that had told us, that told Akim that she was an agnostic alchemist. All right, and the thing is, that title in itself, just to cut out all the madness. All right, it's pretty much just simply put, a person that reveres nature more than the Creator. All right, actually, let me get that as well. Yeah, Ludo will get that out later. But this is verse 10. Right, which is a custom of these other nations, man. All right, I know for a fact you have what's that? The Hinduism. All right, Elam who uphold the cow. All right, there's another East Asian religion. That black and white circle symbol. I should have looked that one up, but nevertheless, yeah, karma, so called, you know. Just giving reverence to anything but Yahweh Shem Yahushai. But nevertheless, these have somewhat reminiscent beliefs that really just derive from the scriptures. All right. There was even a point where she had mentioned that the every single Bible character, all right, is based off the constellation of the stars. Right. Now, of course, the stars in itself, the constellations and to acknowledge them, they have their own purpose. They already have their own well-seated function that we use. All right, that was dictated by Yahweh Shem Yahushai in the heavens. All right, first and foremost. But nevertheless, the point is, Jake, when they get involved, especially more specifically with witchcraft, and she herself said that she isn't a witch, but I mean, look, the scriptures say that rebelliousness is as the sin of witchcraft. All right, and honestly, anything else that isn't Yahweh Shem Yahushai and calling upon whoever name you call upon and doing the deeds of those other idols or gods, let's be honest, it's just witchcraft, man. All right, at the end of the day, this is really idol worship. Verse 10, it says, "There shall not be found among you any one that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire, or that useth divination, or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch." All right, and again, witch or not, nevertheless, you are at in some extent you are an observer of the times, and to some extent you are perhaps an enchanter. All right. Now, of course, in modern day, when even though it still happens, the sacrifice of children, all right, of infants, babies, for the purpose of worshiping an idol, although that may happen. No, that's still no. That still happens today. But you have places like the Bohemian Grove. You have these other places that, of course, more so in these times, which is more relevant. Epstein and his little cuckoo island. All right, these things. All right, yes, indeed, they still happen. But Jake is still mixed up in what being enchanters, divinations, and observer of times. That still happens, man. All right. So verse 11 it says, or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer, which is someone that deals with pretty much the dead, right? Necro. I mean the dead. So yeah, I'm gonna keep reading. 12th verse. For all that do these things are an abomination unto Yahweh Shem Yahushai, the Lord, and because of these abominations, the Lord thy God doth drive them out from before thee. All right. Yeah, and the thing is, when I can watch that camp video, the one thing that was that stuck out to me was the fact that Israel not only lacks, of course, obedience, but they lack oneness. All right, they literally lack oneness with the Most High, meaning to literally keep your eyes single. All right, anytime someone comes up with all manner of even something common, all right, something as simple as Christianity. All right, that's one thing that we all got mixed up in. All right, but the thing is, it's idol worship. You're worshiping who? Jesus Christ, Jesus H Christ. All right, which we know in that goes back to an idol. All right, Serapis Christus, as well as an actual man in terms of the likeness. All right, an actual man who lived. All right, I'm a member of the Borgia family, Cesare Borgia. Okay. You see, so these people, these idols, they don't go back to anything. They don't go back to something that has superiority, all right, over the earth. And that's what these people do. They give credence to the creation rather than the creator, man. All right, this is Romans 11:7. It says, what then? Israel hath not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election hath obtained it, and the rest were blinded. All right, and I always bring this out or harp on to the point that Israel is always seeking for something. All right, that's really why she came up. All right, as many other Jakes that we've seen across the years being on the highways and hedges. All right, they come up thirsty, lacking something. All right, and in this case, this individual was lacking the Lord, plainly put. All right, because even with something as simple as the alphabet, which Akim already know, they of course they have some resemblance to things on earth, the oxen head. All right, but nevertheless, we give credence to who? Yahweh Shem Yahushai. The stars in the heavens, you want to worship those? Fine, go ahead. But at least we know that they go back to who? The actual product, all right, of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Literally the Father of spirits. And if you Google the even if you Google the definition of witchcraft, it's just that. It's people that invoke spirits and like to harp onto what the things of the earth, all right, and never, all right, of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, man. But nevertheless, the answer to receive or whatever Israel is seeking for isn't going to be found there, man. That's the whole point. All right, Israel hath not obtained that which he seeketh for, man. If you're going into, don't even get me started on people that mess with psychedelics too. All right. Oh, but it's of the earth. Nah, man, that's not where the Lord dwells in. There was a guy that came up years ago that I believe he was a member of IUIC that claimed he found the Lord because he was taking K2. I don't know nothing about that specifically, that which sounds like a damn compound, all right, chemical compound. But he said he claimed he was harping so hard that he wouldn't have found the Lord if it wasn't for K2. And what's crazy is that Israel's just looking for that oneness, man. All right, when he said something like that, and I remember his reaction, it was nothing was funny about it to him. He swore by it. So at the end of the day, Israel is seeking for something. They're looking to obtain that mercy at the end of the day, the salvation. But nevertheless, it says, and the rest were blinded. All right. According as it is written, the Lord hath given them the spirit of slumber, eyes that they should not see, and ears that they should not hear unto this day. And David said, let their table be be made a snare and a trap and a stumbling block and a recompense unto them. Yeah, that's right. So that whatever they're into nowadays, it's ultimately just their undoing. All right, they're stuck in that hole that the Lord put them in, and they themselves, instead of just coming on out when you was able, all right, going onto the highways and hedges and actually seeing the men of Yahweh Shem Yahushai stretching forth our arm through the Spirit, they dig that hole deeper and deeper, man. All right. What's that? Worship the. Might not find it. Yeah. This is Romans 1:25, which I had highlighted too. It says, who changed the truth of the Most High into a lie, and worshipped and served the creature more than the Creator, who was blessed forever. Amen. You see? All right? And really to do that, let's be honest, it's just a perverse thing. All right? It's profane. Okay? There's another scripture. All right? This is 1 Corinthians 2:14. All right, and another thing too is the fact that we brought out Exodus 22:18. All right, that we're not supposed to suffer a witch to live. Again, witch or not, nevertheless, it's still idol worship, man. All right, an agnostic alchemist. This is 1 Corinthians 2:14. It says, "But the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of the Most High, for they are foolishness unto him, neither can he know them, because they are spiritually discerned." And her I guess her there's a word that starts with a C. I'm at a loss for words right now. I guess her contrary of the fact was the fact that when she was in the church, if I'm not mistaken, she did say she was if not Christian, she did keep a Bible at home and read, right? And she said that whatever was in that book never helped me. All right. And presumably we can all assume that it was obviously, somewhat Christian related. All right. Or a Christian-esque spirit. All right. And was probably calling on Jesus. All right. Things probably didn't go her own way. Maybe something happened in her life. All right. As most jigs deal with. Right. We're still subject under the curses. And whatever it may be, all right, led her to being an alchemist, man. An agnostic one. Right. That's still not the ways of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, but nevertheless, the Lord leads them to these paths, because ultimately, that was their stumbling block. That was their snare. All right. This is 1 Corinthians 2:14. It says, "But the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of the Most High, for they are foolishness unto him." And that's what she pretty much accounted it to. All right, foolishness. Or it's just below. What I believe in now. All right, and there's no way that you can tell her otherwise. All right, had the incorrect breakdown of what's that, Ecclesiastes 9:1. All right, taking things literal, had an incorrect definition of the word humble, which she just thought it flat out meant to be ugly. All right, it says, "Neither can he know them, because they are spiritually discerned. But he that is spiritual judgeth all things, yet he himself judgeth no man." That was the point. All right, what was the last one? This is Proverbs, Proverbs 4:22. It says, this is the point, because like I mentioned before, the oneness of the Most High, it comes from actually being in the truth. We're not giving to these different spirits. We're not given to books as well. All right, I can't remember if she mentioned any books specifically, but nevertheless, Jake does hearken onto pretty much anything that isn't their book, their family book, which is the scriptures. All right, they'll intend unto their words and incline, all right, the ear unto their sayings. Right. This is Proverbs 4:22. "For they are life unto those that find them, and health to all their flesh. Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life." Verse 24. This is the point. It says, "Put away from thee a froward mouth and perverse lips. Put far from thee. Let thine eyes look right on, and let thine eyelids look straight before thee. Ponder the path of thy feet, and let all thy ways be established." And these actions have indeed been done. It is currently, all right, as I speak, by the elect, hopeful elect men of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. All right, it doesn't matter where brothers ended up in life. All right, wherever the election hath led them. All right, because every mistake, every perceived mistake, all right, any other god that you were led to, these dumb idols, that's where it ends. It's something that you were led to, but what, through the mercies of the Most High, we depart from those things, right? And we can actually receive that spirit of oneness, that spirit of one gospel, right? One doctrine, right? One name. See, it's simple, and this, and with that simplicity, as it is written, the simplicity in Yahweh Shai, it comes from the understanding too that everything that's seen before us, you ought to give it to who? The superiority, all right, to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, man. And that's what makes these people that delve in these things so, it's just foolishness, man. Hosea 4:6. Our people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge, and that's why they go into these other places, man. They delve into these different spooky forests and get lost, and then find themselves worshiping who knows damn what, They're becoming followers of Cthulhu or something, Lovecraftian BS, man. All right, but that's not gonna happen to the Lord's elect. Our ways are already established. All right, our eyelids are not looking left or right; they're looking straight towards that path that we were set upon. All right, to the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Verse 27, it says, "Turn not to the right hand nor to the left. Remove thy foot from evil." All right, so that's pretty much the point. All right, those know this video was edifying. I'm gonna close out by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Kakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders. I agree most on. I'm gonna teach over well, and peace and blessings be unto you, fellow alchemy brothers. Let us push out this word in truth, sincerity, and in faith. With that, I'm gonna say shalom.